Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode in hopefully a running one of Being Ridiculous. I'm going to do it every Friday without question, regardless of what happens that day. And what I'm going to talk about is just something that's happened during the week, throw in some voices, and just tell you about cool things that I found on the internet. Just random stuff. So, to start out, something pretty monumental happened last night. I went to a voiceover workshop ran by Jason Noxon of voicecoaches.com, and I'll put all this information in the description. But pretty much I paid $49, went to this class, and I didn't know if it was going to be legit or not. And I've actually contacted voice coaches before about their they do a premium package, and it makes a demo for you, take some classes, pretty much get you started up and running. The demo is the biggest part of it though. So I went to this voiceover class, and it pretty much changed everything in a good way. And the reason I'm calling the show Being Ridiculous is because that's one of the things that I talked about last night, because there was a guy in one of the other classes that drove like 4 hours just to go to the 2.5-hour class, and he's like, you're ridiculous for doing that. And he meant it in a good way. And what he means is, when you're pursuing something that you really want to do, you shouldn't let anything get in the way. I know everyone hears that, but you have to take chances. Like, you have to be ridiculous about things that you are really passionate about and you want to do. So it's something that I've kind of, in the past day, or pretty much the second after I heard it, I kind of started to live by it. So in terms of the voiceover class, I mean, I wrote, like, this is my little name tag that came with it, but I wrote notes for about, very sloppy notes, because I had to pack it all in, about 3 pages of notes, yeah. But pretty much went over the type of voice that the market is looking for, where in the market you can go, how to present yourself, what demos are like, the pros and cons of the business, and just where to find work and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff that I have written down in here. But moving on, at the end of the session, he had a microphone set up, and we were all going to read a little line from this for like a couple of fake places, like let's see what they have here, smartcar.com, and they're just like 4 little lines you say, like, okay, so it's time to buy a new car, and boy, I could do without the hassle, and it's just like really sarcastic stuff, kind of. And there's one for Scapino's, which is a fake Italian restaurant, New England Wild World theme park, which is like a really you have to be really excited when you do it. And then the one I had was part 1 of Cellstar, and I was doing a frustrated person, like a frustrated person that can't get their cell phone to work, obviously. So I did it, and he said, you know, when you go in for an audition, how long do you have with the script? And I said, you don't have any time. You get it and you read it. You don't study it, you don't memorize it. So I tried my best to not look at it as much as I wanted to, but I did look at it through my own, like, temptation. So he told me to read it in my own voice, like this, and I've never really considered that as a possibility to get hired for my regular, you know, voice. So I kind of just instantly went into just some kind of like deeper version of myself. So I read it like, hello? Hello? Great, that figures. No signal again. I just don't get it. They can put a man on the moon, but no one can seem to make a cell phone call that gets good reception. I read it like that, or some variation of that. And you say it once, and then the second time they record it, and they played it back. And I've never heard my voice played back, and unless it's on YouTube. But this is like high quality software that puts like music to it, and like it's something that you make a legitimate demo with. And I didn't expect to sound like I did. It was kind of like mind-boggling, because I was like, is that seriously what I sound like, or is that the voice that I made? And you could fill out this sheet, and it would, you pretty much had to sign off and say like, yeah, I know if I'm getting critiqued, then it's possible for them to say something bad about it. So they were going to critique this little like hello hello that figures line, and it was the first time I've ever done anything in like I guess a studio environment, and it was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and I was like, I gotta take a chance. So I just wanted them to do a critique, and I got a call. I had to wake up for class around 9, but the phone call was going to come between 7 and 8. So I woke up at 6:30, and I kept setting my alarm in like 5-minute intervals so that I would wake up every 5 minutes after 6:30. So I woke up a lot. I don't know the math, so I woke up a lot, and I finally got a call at 7:50, and it's actually, I've contacted voice coaches before, like I said, and I talked to the girl that I was talking to through email. So it was really surreal, kind of like getting just how it all came together. So I ended up getting to talk to her, and she said, you have a really nice voice, like your voice has a resonance to it, which was really good to hear. There was no like smacking or crackling or anything like that. So that was really nice to hear. But the only critique and she also said, I see your voice in like video games, anime, audiobooks, educational things, children's educational things. So I was like really happy to hear that. And she said the only critique is that you need to be more conversational, and she was like, I understand it was your first time and you were nervous, and I was like, yeah, my hand was shaking and whatnot. And she said you need to be more conversational, and I told her like the idea of someone hiring me for my voice, just this voice, completely passed my mind, because I've been working on all these characters and stuff, and it just blew me away. And she said not to present it, but to just be conversational about it, so that the person listening to it can connect with you and not just hear it and visualize it. So that's something I need to work on. That's why I'm kind of doing this, so I can just kind of get used to my own voice and put it out there and just start saying things. But in terms of that voiceover class, it really bumped up my confidence, and it bumped up my want, and made me just realize how much more I want. That this is really all I see myself doing. Because without this, I honestly don't know where I'd be left off. But all that aside, a friend of mine, Royce, showed me a video of, if anyone's ever heard of TED Talks, it's like really scientific stuff. They kind of go over a bunch of random stuff like how to spot liars, what are orgasms, and like just really weird stuff. The most famous one I think is the David Blaine one, where he holds his breath for 17 minutes. But he showed me one of Reggie Watts, which is actually a guy that's on Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien's the best man in the world. But Reggie Watts, he does complete improv, and he does humor in music. And he has one of those like, I don't know what they're called, but they're a little machine, and like you do something, you hold down a button, you say something, and it loops it. And he would do that, and he would make up lyrics, or just be like, the one that he does that I've listened to about 50 times now, he just starts going, I've been trying, here's something, and a word, and he just starts like going off and just not saying any words and just being like silly. Then he starts like beatboxing and records it. Then he does bass and records it. Then he does like a hi-hat and records it, and then he sings over it and kind of like distorts his voice with this little synthesizer. And it's just like he's coming up with this on the spot, and it sounds really good. And it's not he's not even like trying really. He's being funny, but also extremely talented. So it's if you want to look him up, just look up anything by Reggie Watts. But in my opinion, the best one is the one from TED Talks. But Reggie Watts, I'm not really going to talk about this too much, but I went to The Price is Right, like a traveling version of The Price is Right, a much cheaper version. No Drew Carey, no Bob Barker, some guy, Todd Newton, I think his name was. He does a whole bunch of other shows, but I haven't seen game shows in like years. It was pretty fun. I didn't get called up or anything. A lot of the people that went up were extremely retarded. They don't know how much things cost, apparently. But it was pretty fun. It's nowhere near as good as I wanted it to be, but what can you do? So it was pretty fun. Something that I think will help, something that's helped with my confidence, or something that will get an honest reaction out of people. Because one thing when I made the Bane video, I told, or prior to that, I was like, I don't want any sympathy. If my impression sucks, tell me. Like, if I asked 100 of my friends to watch this video and they liked it just because, you know, they're my friend, then how would I know if it's good or not? Because some of them might not like it. So the video has about like half and half, likes, dislikes, and actually I thank the people that commented on it, saying, you know, it's too raspy, too deep, too close to the microphone, stuff like that. But then again, it was my first ever, I'm not going to make excuses, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I've worked on it and all that good stuff, and something I've been doing kind of accidentally, I gotta hurry this up. I went on Stickam and my camera wasn't working, so I was just doing Bane's voice with a black screen to see if people would understand who it was, and for some awful reason, a lot of people haven't seen the third Batman movie, which completely baffles me. But I was just doing it over and over and over, and a lot of people caught on, some people didn't, some people critiqued it, but usually the people that have heard it before were actually pretty, you know, happy with it. And I wouldn't show, my camera started working later on, and I wouldn't show my face. I would literally do everything in my arsenal that I have, so that they get the full experience. And there's actually a guy that recorded like 30 minutes of it, but he hasn't sent it to me yet. So it's a really easy way to get a completely unbiased stranger's reaction to what you want to do. So if you do Bane for like your friends and family, they'll be like, oh, that was, yeah, it was good. But when you do it to a stranger, they don't know who you are, they don't care who you are. They'll just tell you straight up, that sucked, regardless of if they're nice or not. But in terms of actually at the class, I kind of outspoke myself. I said I can do a Christopher Walken impression and it's pretty good, and everyone was like, okay, well, we got to hear it before the end of the night. And I was like, well, great, I just dug myself a hole. But at the end of the night, one of the people actually remembered and came up to me and was like, okay, do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, what if we're his family? And then I said, it's spot on. And then I said the thing from Pulp Fiction, like, oh my god, what does he say? I'll be damned if the goats get the Gracie Little mitts on my son's birthright. I can never say birthright correct, but anyways, they liked it, and I was happy that they liked it, and they really enjoyed it, so I was really happy with that. And I've just been working on Bane non-stop, just because I love the voice, and I realize I've been down here, and it's been really low. It's kind of the voice I have in the other one, and I sound like Sean Connery. But if I bring it up a little bit higher, I sound like him, and I'm realizing that, but I was kind of in denial. So when I say things like, well, perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. Or, what's the other thing that he says? It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. So I'm working on it still, but I have a lot more coming, and hopefully everyone enjoyed this, and thank you very much, and tune in for next week. Alright, bye. Bye.